Test test. Ready to rock. Episode. Can't believe it. Flying by 176.
176.
All right. Good luck.
You too.
Hello and welcome to the How to Hobby Podcast. I'm your host, John Power, and this is episode 176 of our wonderful podcast show here, the How to Hobby Boys. Once again, here behind the mahogany desk. And I'm joined by my fearless co host, Sean Bennett, fresh off the 31st birthday extravaganza. And we hope from all of us here, Sean, we hope you had an amazing birthday.
I did. It was a really good one. Well, there was a little bit of uncertainty. I'll talk about that in a sec with work, but the actual birthday was really good. Went out to Korean barbecue for dinner. It was fantastic. Stuffed my face with all different kinds of meats and veggies and rice, and it was just I think Korean barbecue is probably one of my favorite styles of food. I mean, it's my parents have their own the little burners we do in the backyard, but this one we actually went out to a restaurant. And I think it's one of my favorite styles because it encourages you to eat, right? Like it's all you can eat, but it's all you can eat of really high quality meats. So it's not like you're stuffing your face with a bunch of like really crappy burgers and everything. It's just the best meats, marinated porks, chickens, beefs. It's phenomenal. I love Korean barbecue, and I decided this year to do it for my birthday and had a lot of fun. Tried a new place. It's called Booga. I don't know if you've ever heard of it or been to it. It's right off of the 805 and Claremont Mesa Boulevard, but it's
The
the
hub for the
hub,
meats. I call it the
the
meat
hub,
hub.
the hub for the meats. Yeah, it was good. My parents came out, my brother came out, and Allie and I sat there and just cooked a bunch of dinner, and it was really good. The unfortunate news was finding out that work uh, is doing a little bit of restructuring, and there's potential layoffs coming out, and it's been a very interesting week as we here in San Diego start hearing the news coming from the Netherlands and telling us what's going to be happening. I think a lot of us are it's unfortunate that some of the positions have to be let go, but the reason they're doing it, a lot of us are actually kind of excited for because it means we're getting rid of the current structure we have, which is very bloated in terms of as an engineer myself, I answer to like six or seven different people and they all want something different. And it's really hard to manage all those expectations. And what they're going to is a more streamlined approach where you have basically one person that is in charge of your team and they shield you from everything above them. So it's trying to make it so the engineers can just focus on engineering again and not having to play this like political game of, oh, I missed this guy on my meeting because I didn't even know he needed to be there. And now he's being frustrated, like he's frustrated and he's taking it out on us. And now he's not giving us approvals because none of us even knew he needed to be there. And like this whole kind of bloated system that we're currently running on, they're trying to shave that down. So it's unfortunate some
Nice.
people are going to lose their jobs, but I think for the rest of the company, it should get a lot more streamlined and a lot better. But it was just like a very busy birthday of putting all that together. So it was very, very interesting. But yeah, it was a good birthday week. I'm now officially 31 years old.
Congratulations, man. What's your favorite cut of Korean barbecue meat? Because
I think
everybody has their favorite.
mine has to be beef bulgogi. I think that's
Okay.
probably that and pork belly. I think are my two favorites. We tried something new this time. I was going to be a fan. It's pork belly, one of my favorites. It's got tahini on it, one of my favorites, and it's
Okay.
got garlic, one of my favorites.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the garlic paste that they used was like the most aggressively garlic thing you've ever eaten in your entire life. So when you go to put this in your mouth, I liked the flavor, but then everything after it just tasted like this garlic paste that they used. So I was
Oh
kind of
man.
surprised. I thought it'd be a little bit better, but I think beef bulgogi is my absolute go-to for Korean barbecue.
That's the thin one, right? That you kind of
It's shaved but marinated in like a
that's
wet
right.
marinade that's similar to teriyaki where it's a little sweet, a little tangy. Like it's really, really
Oh yeah.
good. And I love marinated meats because the plain ones I think are nice in the beginning. I like to like start with just like pork belly or beef tongue or like just like plain ones and then move into the marinated as the night goes on.
Ah, man. I- We'll have to sit down one time, sit at Sean's Korean barbecue table and just listen to him cook the meats, tell us his tactics. But uh but for now we're gonna table this one and I will say, Sean, we had quite the weekend at the Power household as well. I took on one of the biggest peaks locally with the two kiddos. And
Okay.
what
With the
I
kiddos.
with the kiddos. So we actually
Okay.
gave my wife a nice weekend alone. We do this periodically throughout the year to give her a little bit of time away from the crazy and the
Hmm.
chaos. And so I took the kids camping at a beautiful campsite locally called Lost Dutchman State Park. Highly
Okay.
recommend. And again, you can only really do it comfortably during the winter.
Okay. Okay.
And it has been just pristine. Right now is just perfect. Actually, today was even getting a little bit too warm. But yeah, it's like that sweet spot. This is why all the snowbirds come here right now.
Hmm.
It's like mid 40s every night and then warms up to a nice 70 every single day. It's just phenomenal. But yeah, camping was amazing. We poignantly timed it to have the full moon. That was a
Okay.
dad move.
Yep. I was like, it was
So
just a full moon the other night. That's
oh,
really cool.
it was phenomenal. But this hike is no joke, man. It's the most elevation the kiddos have ever done. It's 4,000 foot of
Okay.
elevation. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Sean. It took us a full. We left at 9:30 and we didn't finish till 4. So it was
Oh,
yeah,
how did the kids do?
they did it, man. They're probably doing better
Really?
than me.
How was
I'm
your
not going to
knee
say
through
there
all of it?
wasn't any belly wagging. I mean, there's always a little
Yeah.
bit, but no, I mean, just it's unreal. And the thing about it is when people see kids doing this stuff, they get all jazzed and then they
Hmm.
start pumping up the kids. So it was all free gas. I didn't even have to say anything. My daughter was like, "Oh yeah, I'm hiking. Oh yeah." She was loving it.
That's
So
so cool.
yeah, and I had plenty. You know how I do it, Sean. I had all the snacks. I had the lunches. We did
Hmm.
plenty of. We stayed nice and satiated, which you needed it because this was really it was no joke. But we had a nice meal at the top. Like it was all the things you'd want out of a full day of hiking.
That's awesome.
So yeah, very phenomenal. Highly recommend. And the hike is there's some parts, man. It's got a lot of cool not like full on, obviously you're not rock climbing, but it's just
Yeah.
for the kids, it was so engaging. They just really enjoyed the experience of kind of having more like you're actually climbing, like having to put down an arm, put down two arms and kind of, traverse things. So yeah, it was very cool, very desert, very Arizona, and I highly recommend if anybody ever listens from the valley or wants to come out and do it. And I mean, there's people that actually come and do this hike specifically from all over the U.S. So that was the other cool part. You felt like you were a part of. I don't know if you've been hiking when
Hmm.
it's a big peak, it's well known, and there's just
Yep.
it was that peak Saturday where everybody's out and everybody's doing it together, and so there's that sense of camaraderie, right? Like
Yep.
this is
Yeah.
hard. And then they're seeing these kids, and my daughter she loved it. She kept saying, people would ask her, one, how old are you? And two, have you even broke a sweat yet? She's like, no. So yeah, no, it's like they weren't even breathing heavy, man. It's crazy.
That's
We've got
so cool.
all these adults.
Kudos to you for bringing them, getting them out there, getting them some exercise. That's really cool. And for giving your wife the weekend.
It's a win-win-win across the board. I came back.
Yeah.
I was just happy place for JP as I came back in, went to church on Sunday, and I was just like, oh yeah, it was
Hmm.
just phenomenal. And, did it all out of the little two-door RSX for the win once again.
Nice.
And every time I'm like, see, you don't need a big car.
You don't?
You just bring what you need and figure it out. And it just worked. And the food this time, I will say I hit that on the head again. So I've been trying to understand what you bring for the kitchen and then what you bring in the fridge, i.e. the
Hmm.
cooler.
Yep.
And after a big long hike, you don't want to be dinking around. So first night we did hot dogs over the fire, which was great. And then the second night we just did burgers over the cast iron, and that was great.
Nice.
So it was just so simple too, and I love that as well.
That's awesome.
Win-win-win, Sean. But probably still not as good as beef bulgogi. But we'll see. Maybe one day we'll get there. Um, let's take a moment. Welcome in the listeners here. We got listeners streaming in from all over the world, Sean. And if you're new here in town, come on into the happiest place to be on a Friday, the How to Hobby Lounge, open for business again. Best day of the week. Come and sit yourself down in the plushest seats in town. We got them freshly reupholstered again by AZ Upholstery, our just favorite local business that does the best work in town. Your bum will appreciate it. But grab yourself a choice beverage, strap in, because we're going to be talking about, again, everything to get us going and give us a fresh start in Q1 of 2026. This week, we're actually focusing on the gym. So, this is going to be how we set our fitness apart and give us a fresh start in 2026. So, Sean is going to start with some history here in a second, but I do want to give you some opportunities to connect with us on social media further. If you're interested, it's pretty easy. We have an Instagram at How to Hobby Podcast. We have a Gmail account, howtohobbypodcast@gmail.com. And we are streaming to YouTube now. All of our episodes do go on there. So if you like YouTube podcasting experience through the video, feel free to give us a subscribe there. But we always appreciate the likes and or follows on our various podcasting platforms. So, listeners, thank you for all the support. We're so grateful to have you around, and we hope you enjoy another episode here. Sean is going to break down the history of fitness throughout the ages, I believe, but we'll see.
We're going to touch on a bunch of things. So first, the gym isn't just a place to work out. We're going to be talking about that a lot. And I think it's important to put in the beginning, we're not talking about this from the point of experts. We're just two regular dudes that have been to the gym before. I don't even currently have a gym membership. I don't have access to a gym, so I'm not using a gym currently. But we're just two dudes talking about things we've learned about the gym and experiences we've had. So we're not coming at you in this kind of weird standard gym culture. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the gym isn't just a place to work out, it's a behavioral system. Results don't come from just like single workouts, they come from routines that are repeated over time. And consistency beats intensity almost every time. Now, before we talk about gyms, I think it's important to understand kind of this broader health context, something that once I saw the numbers really surprised me, especially coming from someone who is in the category. But in the US, adult obesity rates are among the highest in the economically developing world. And about 36% of all adults in the US are considered obese. And when you look at combining that across all of Western style countries, over half of all adults are currently overweight or in the obese category. And this is coming from somebody who is squarely in that obese category. So like I live within, I'm one of those numbers and that percentages, but I didn't realize how much it was. And it was really surprising to me when I started doing the research. So I have a feeling that a lot of the listeners out there too are also in the same boat as me, and that we're all here together to not judge or shame anybody, but just trying to teach and learn from each other on this and set some healthier habits. So when we look at the gym, it's pretty important, or it's pretty eye-opening, and once you start really looking into it, how obvious it is that routines are the powerhouse of the gym. It's not the actual gym itself, it's the routine of going to the gym that changes everything. The benefits of the routine is there's less decision fatigue. You don't have to decide, am I going to go today? You just know you're going to go today. There's more consistency over time. There's clear expectations for your body and schedule, so it's easier to fit it in with everything else happening in life rather than, oh, I have to slide this in with everything else going on. And then it's easy to recover when you have missed days. Because I think that's something that's important is realizing everybody that goes to the gym regularly is going to have missed days. You're going to go camping, you're going to go out of town, you're going to do whatever. And it's about coming back from those that's the most important. So the routines turn your initial motivation into momentum to keep you going. When we look at like daily cadences versus weekly cadences, so daily things that we want to talk about that can help make your gym trip more successful are go to the same time every day if you can. Same prep cues. So always have like your gym bag packed and your playlist ready and your headphones charged, like everything you need while you're there. And then remember that even short sessions to the gym still count. So maybe you normally go for an hour and today you got 15 minutes. Still going for those 15 is more important than not going. Short sessions you can still get a lot out of. When you're looking at like a weekly cadence, you want to do things like planned training days, right? So maybe like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, something that fits again better with your routine. Built-in rest and recovery days. Don't feel like you always have to power through every single day. Our bodies need downtime. And then you need to be flexible if life happens. because that's the point of life. Things happen and sometimes you can't control them and you've got to move things around. So be a little flexible and remember that I think this phrase, I saw this online. I think this is really good. You don't miss workouts. You just reschedule them. And I think that that's a really powerful phrase because you don't, it's not like, oh, I missed yesterday. I'm just rescheduling it to today. And that's fine. It takes a little bit of that pressure off. When we look at like the most common gym goals, it's usually for like losing weight or body fat, building muscle or strength, improving overall health, increasing energy and confidence, and then reducing stress and improving mental health. I think that last one is something that I've actually heard a lot of people talk about over the last couple of years for people who go to the gym and work out regularly is realizing how important it is for improving their mental health and keeping them sane in the crazy things that are today. I think when we look at why people stop going to the gym, it's usually because, like almost every other thing we've talked about in this podcast, we set unrealistic expectations or goals, right? It's just not going to happen. Or timelines, right? Like I want to lose 50 pounds by next month. Not going to happen. If trying to do too much and too fast, and we'll touch on this a little bit when we get to the
Hmm.
standard gym culture, but also relying on motivation instead of routine, because that motivation will falter. It's life, it happens. Having life disruptions, travel, work, stress, that's again where that routine helps pull you back from those things. And then realizing that you don't have to worry about like all or nothing thinking after a missed workout. It's not like I missed today and I've lost all of the work I've already done. You just missed today. That's okay. So I think that what I have found that helps people stay consistent is lower the barrier to entry. So short workouts are better than skipped workout. Anchor workouts to existing habits. So things that already fit well into your life. You do before work or after school work pickup or whatever after dinner, like I'm doing after dinner walks right now. Track consistency, not perfection. Plan for bad weeks. Know that they're going to happen and find ways to prep for them. And then focus on the identity of I'm someone who works out, not I'm trying to, or versus I'm trying to get in shape. So it kind of helps again with that motivation and keeping it going. So I think it's all about reframing what success means in the gym to you. But I just go back to a lot of those the percentages we talked about at the top of the episode. Like a lot of people are in the same boat together, and it's hard to feel motivated because you feel like you can't get out there and do it every single day, and that's okay. That's just part of life. That's just part of being human. So that wraps up my segment on the gym, routines, motivation, and why consistency wins.
Oh, well done as always, Sean. This great breakdown of the history of the gym and how we're going to reframe for success in 2026. I love your takeaway there. Consistency over intensity, because it just really aligns with the way I've always viewed how I go to the gym. I am definitely one of those people where I'm a short worker outer, um, 15 to 30 minutes at max.
Hmm.
If I'm feeling spicy on a certain day of the week, usually only one day of the week, and it's usually a Friday, I'll maybe do a 45-minute workout. But I just love that you drove home. It's more about consistency, and motivation will come and go and wane depending on how you feel, but your routine will be what drives you forward, whether it's daily or weekly. But again, having some way of viewing it and framing it around a weekly construct so that you're saying, no, this is my gym day. Like that's what you want to start saying is this is my gym day.
Hmm.
And it will turn these good intentions into results over the long term. And I always jokingly say dad gains.
Yeah.
Dad gains are it's a 15-minute workout, listeners. And I'm a dad, so I can say this 100%. And people will ask me like, "What are you doing?" I always go, "Oh, like dad gains, minimal gains." This is not something you're not touting around. I think that was the big thing we wanted to drive home when we talk about now dispelling and having a fresh perspective regarding standard gym culture. It's not something you need to go and I'm going to get this result. I think the minute you turn it all about results, you will it's like blood in the wine. It immediately taints the experience and you just don't feel as good about it inherently because if you look at yourself after going and you're not seeing quote unquote the results that so and so is seeing on social media who does this full time every single day and they actually don't work a normal job, so it's not even a comparison, you will just be stripped of all joy about the process and ultimately your own personal routine.
Yep.
So I'm big on one, don't let the gym culture of America or any Western country make you feel negative about what you're doing. Um, it's not a one size fits for all, but I will say if you just sort of make it a tool or a part of your day, whether it's 15 minutes or 30 minutes, you will still see results. And I think that's really the biggest driver that I have here, Sean, in this one is it can be that short.
Yep.
15 minutes, 3 times a week. And then this is the other thing too that I wanted to, when we talk about mind setting and level setting, um, I'm kind of leading the cart before the horse here, but 15 minutes quickly turns into 30 when you just, because it's rare for you to get going into something and start on something without then going, you know what? I think I can go 5 extra minutes.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what?
true.
I think I can add an extra 10 minutes here.
Hmm.
And I do that with myself to this day. If I'm on a stair climber or doing a run on a treadmill, I don't like those things. Who does? But something about, okay, now I'm moving. I've done it. I'm actually moving forward. Okay, you know what? I can do another 5 minutes. Hey, let's see if I can get to 200 calories burned, quote unquote. What is that? I don't even know. But again, it's these little metrics that just keep you going just slightly. Like, you know what? I can do another 60 seconds. I can hold this out for another 60 seconds. And you'd be just amazed by how powerful your mind is once you get moving. So, Sean, when we talk about standard gym culture, what is you kind of let off with you don't, this is not a big part of who you are right now,
Yeah.
but kind of walk me through some of the things that stick out to you when you hear the word gym.
I think that there's two different pictures in my mind, people who talk about the gym versus people who go to the gym. And the reason I say that is the people who talk about the gym generally are those that fit into the standard culture where they're kind of intimidating about it. Like they're show off. They're like, look at me. I go to the gym, I work out, I'm super, super strong, I'm in great shape. But they're not doing it with the mindset of trying to motivate others to go or to spread the love of the gym. They're just there to have you look at them. So that is the person that I feel like talks about the gym. Whereas when you go to the gym, it's a very different experience because you realize it's just everyday people. It's just everyday folk who kind of don't care about you. They don't care what you look like. They don't care how much you lift. They don't care how many reps you did. They don't care. They're there with their headphones on, getting their workout in, and that's all they care about. There's nobody sitting there staring at you while you work out. But the standard gym culture can feel very intimidating to new people. And for me, it's tough because I don't feel like I fit into the mold of the gym very well. I'm big and relatively strong because of my size and genetics, but I'm not a gym guy. I'm not cut. I'm not, super strong really. I'm just kind of working out to try and get a little bit better. So I don't fit into that standard like gym culture. But I think that the other thing I've seen, and this, I saw this a lot when I was playing football, where there's this kind of macho mindset of where they push you to do more and more weight rather than doing lower weight and more reps. And the worrisome part about pushing more and more weight is at some point you're going to get hurt. You're going to pull too much, you're going to push too much, you're going to just go jump above your weight class in terms of things that you can lift and you're going to get hurt. So instead of getting that strong form with the lower weight, it's immediately like, how do I rush to just be the strongest as possible? And then it ends up backfiring. So those are kind of some of the things that I see a lot in standard gym culture that people talk about. Again, for anyone who's never been to the gym, it is not as intimidating as you think because once you get there, again, you realize nobody cares about you. Nobody's judging, nobody's looking. But it's the people who like talk, oh, I go to the gym every day, and they're like boasting about it that give us the wrong impression of the people that are there.
100%. I mean, this is, you got to be so careful. And I love that you're emphasizing this one aspect of this, which is one, you don't need to be intimidating. And then two, be very careful. Like injury in the gym
Hmm.
specifically takes you out for 6 months. Like there you go. Right there, you just put yourself behind. Again, I'm at worst case. That's the worst case for sure. But even still, if it's 6 weeks, that's still 6 weeks of loss of potential improvement.
Yep.
And I do agree with you. I think there is this sort of sense in our culture that's the macho side of it, where it's like, you're gonna push more, you're gonna do more, you're gonna, you just gotta go, boy. And I've seen it, and there were people that were working out at my work gym, and one guy that I knew actually blew out his shoulder. And
Mm,
I saw the cadence in which he was pushing. Like I saw the intensity in which he was bringing, which the intensity was good, the cadence was not. And
yeah.
I always sort of said like, wow, this guy is like he would just be going from thing to thing to thing, but very rapidly, like no break in between.
Mm,
And I don't care. I know for a fact I can't do that anymore. I got hurt at a younger age doing sort of that thing where I would go like my cadence for doing certain exercises I think was too intense, like too
hmm.
fast and too much of a spring when you can only be it's like if you're a football player, that's great and you're working out every single day, right? But as a again, level setting for everybody out there, Sean, you and me being engineers, ultimately we're desk surfers. We don't have the ability to be springing, heavy load up and down at a high rate of
Yeah.
exercise. And so anyway, yeah, he told me I lost track of him for it was 6 weeks at the minimum. He just disappeared. And I'm
Hmm.
like, man, what happened to this guy? Sure enough, he comes in. He goes, yeah, man, I blew out my shoulder.
Mm,
Just what like going up in weight too intensely in a row, and then just like went for one and bang, just like
yeah.
that. And so the risk is 100% there, and we don't want to sugarcoat that. I mean, this is a part of the culture that is can be very negative, and you got to be so careful. Again, lower weight, higher reps. That's a great way to start. And I think now, Sean, when we as we move into level setting, I've been wanting to use this word. I've been wanting to talk through it. But my biggest one for 2026 for everybody is don't stop moving. Like this, what we really want to drive home, if you're not going to listen to anything else in this episode, listen to us as we're talking through level setting because it's all about mindset and mindset refreshing for 2026. Don't stop moving. Mobility is king in your life. Make 2026 about mobility in the long run. This is not something you're just going to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to commit to this for 6 months, or I'm going to commit to this for the next 3 months and see where I go. Maybe I let the gym membership go, or maybe I fall out, like Sean talked about in his New Year's resolution history, where I forget the statistics exactly, but almost all of the new people that come back to the gym are gone by February.
Yep.
Well, we're already into February, listeners. So hang on. That's why we waited to talk about the gym to February so we could re motivate you to get back out there and conquer your area that you want to regarding your mobility. So take control and let's be a culture of how to hobby boys and girls that want to go for the long run. Put your sail up there for the longevity of life. The years are going by. I can't believe Sean's 31. This is freaking me out. My
Tell
my
me about it.
eh,
You and I met when I was 21. To put into perspective that we met when I
this
was
is
21.
crazy. I know. I don't even think I could drink because oh wait, no, I could because I'm older than
Yeah,
you.
yeah, you good.
I was not a partier in high school, so I just like thought I was like, yeah, sweet. Anyway, so yeah, the other big one we want to hone in on and kind of give me your thoughts on this one specifically, Sean. But it's kind of stretching and engaging core muscle groups. I
Hmm.
always find this is sort of the where I would like to start or encourage anybody. But is that something that you feel like resonates with you at all? Or
I feel like it's something that every person I've ever talked to, whether it was classes or people who giving advice, always say that. I think the hardest part is actually engaging it. And I think that it's super critical and it's super important because the core muscles are the single most important thing. But I think taking the time beforehand to stretch or after to stretch or both, but engaging the core muscle groups is something that everyone will tell you, but don't really understand how important it is until you injure one of those core muscle groups. And then you realize
mm,
how important it is in everyday life. I mean, everyone here has experienced it. If you've ever laughed hard enough, you know that feeling of your abs and your stomach feeling like tight and sore, right? Like we've all been there at one point in our lives. That's just from laughing. And then every time you move, any little movement you make, you feel that through your entire core. That's the point of realizing how important those muscles are. The littlest thing, reaching to get a drink, getting up off the couch, those muscles are engaging. So if you stretch and work those out, you're building the foundation.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the key here in all things. To avoid injury, it starts with the core.
Yeah.
And I like that you kind of said that specifically. What you notice when you have a core injury. I actually just had one in my knee. I was telling you
Hmm.
after that race, I just, and after assessing, because I have been thinking about it and reflecting on why did this happen? Why would this take place? There's always an opportunity to reverse engineer. And at the end of the day, I just realized, or again, my kind of final conclusion is that when you're pushing, no matter who you are, when you if you push hard enough for 4.5 hours, which is how long I was pushing at like a consistent pace,
Hmm.
they always talk about it on the bike, it's time under tension. So your legs are just under tension, right? For tension and compression of some sort for that amount of time. And you're not prepared for that unless you train. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even though I'm quote unquote trained, it was still another level at which when I was on race day, you have adrenaline, you have things going on, you're riding with people and it's fun and you're pushing really hard. And
Yeah.
I did not stretch enough in recovery from that effort. And I think I finally found it. I don't know if I told you. I finally found where it was just when when I rolled on the specific part of my muscle, it felt like it was like excruciating pain. And
Mm.
I was like, I think that's it. And then I worked on it for a couple days, but it was just so tight. It was one of my tendons, like in my
It,
quad.
it was the same when I tore my calf. Like it was a very core muscle group. You don't realize how much you use it until it's torn and you can't walk without crutches. But it was that same thing. I didn't stretch. I knew exactly what happened. I didn't stretch. I didn't drink enough water. And it was just after a really long day of running around and standing on my feet. And then I just had that little, I was wearing shoes that had no grip on the bottom. And I just had a little bit of slip and it was just pop, immediately tore the calf.
Man,
Like it was so, so fast and out of nowhere. It's just how quickly life can change like that.
yeah,
I mean, I went from perfectly fine, turned, stepped once, and now is 6 weeks on crutches, out of absolutely nowhere. It was absolutely crazy how fast things can change. But yeah, it's important to work those muscles out. It's important to stay hydrated, and again, it's important to stretch.
yeah. So that's kind of our level setting section of this episode. Thanks, Sean, for sharing your personal. We both had some injuries here, and I think that's important to level set as well. Like nobody's perfect here. Like we all are going to take little bumps and bruises along the way, but we're trying to reduce and fly higher in the long run. So
Hmm.
that's ultimately where we want you to go. And as a culture, we want to push and encourage one another to do that. So, Sean, let's move now into low effort entry level uh, movement because again, this is now okay. Moving outside a gym, it doesn't need to be in a gym. It can be anywhere. But what are some of the things we can do together to encourage one another? Well, these are some of those things. So, I first and foremost, I like to say, what can I do to stay in shape? This is going to be the foundational part of this entire experience for everybody that's sitting in the lounge right now. You need to ask yourself, what do not even just what can I do, but what do I want to do to stay in
Yeah.
shape? Because without that, all of this will mean nothing to you. So first, ask yourself that question now and then start thinking about, okay, low effort, entry level. All right, what does that mean? So Sean, when I say these things, what are some of the things that are rolling through your brain at this point?
Yeah, when we were looking at this, I wanted to focus on things that were the most attainable the quickest. And I'm going to start with the thing that I'm starting this year is just getting out and doing daily walks. I walked about a mile and a half on my lunch break today. I'm going to probably walk a little bit tonight, maybe a little bit tomorrow, but doing daily walking around your neighborhood, whether it's at work, your neighborhood at your home, or even just going for easy hikes. Like in San Diego, we're very lucky because we have access to a lot of really easy, pretty flat off-road hikes. I know that some people may not have as much access to those in the area. Maybe you live in somewhere with a lot more mountains or forests or whatever. But try and find ways to do some easy hikes. Maybe, just a half mile in, half mile out. But just finding those things that are easy to attain. You don't need anything special. You can just say, you know what, after dinner every night, I'm just going to go for a half mile walk. That's, I'll talk about a little bit later, but that's what me and Allie are working on this year is just after dinner, just go out for a little walk around the neighborhood, just get some steps in and help our food digest. But it's those kinds of daily walking are important. And I know, John, you mentioned you have been walking or walk. Did you walk today at work or you've been including walks at work?
Yeah, no, always. It's not even it's not a new thing for me. I've shared on the show many a time where I like to act with speed, and what that means for me is moving around. So if I need a moment to kind of just flush the mind, it's a walk. And that happens a few different times a day, or I try and make sure I build that in every single day, no matter what. It's always been a kind of a core value of mine or a core thing I try and focus on. But yeah, now having a dog as well, obviously I'm walking him. We took a nice long walk when I got home. Yeah, it's great. I mean, again, looking up, there's something neurologically stimulating about being able to take stock, look around, look up, see the stars, see the moon, see the season. Like talk about level setting. It's almost like
Hmm.
now mindset setting. You you feel so much more at ease when you just take a second, take a deep breath, look up. And there's something, so walking is such an easy way to set yourself up for more success, more consistency, and ultimately peace as you're moving through life. And that's my
Yeah.
biggest thing for listeners that I want them to feel one encouraged. Don't think of fitness as this bearer of doom. Fitness should be a release. Fitness should be something that you feel good doing. So whether it's pushing weight or taking a walk, it should feel good. And that's the goal of everybody is if it doesn't feel good yet, then take a second, figure out what you need to do to make it feel better the next time. And then the next time it'll feel better and then better and better and you'll move in a more systematic way to success versus just trying to take on the whole elephant right up front, which that's kind of what the gym is. You walk in there, you're like, what's this? I don't know. What's this? And nobody's there to help you. There's no like
Hmm.
guide. You don't open up an app yet and sort of it's like, welcome to the gym. There is no welcome guide. It's pretty much like, do you know what you're doing, dummy? If not, get out.
Yeah.
And that's another big problem. So yeah, I'm with you. Daily walks. I'm huge at body weight exercises. I've been big. My big goal last year was actually just focus on pull ups, sit ups, and dips, body weight.
Mm.
So literally just, and I'm telling you right now, dips, there's something magical about dips. They feel good. I think it's engaging the core in a meaningful way.
Hmm.
It's getting your arm, like the back of the arm, the bicep engaged. There's something, and like the whole posterior chain, I think is just kind of put in tension a little bit with it or compression. Either way, it's under load and it feels good as you're doing them. And it's just body weight, right? So there's no real that my goal with kind of taking that big three, whether it was just sit ups or crunches or even just leg pulls, and then pull ups. It's like nobody is that great at doing any of those when they start. Period. I wasn't. And then all of a sudden, over time, it's like now I can do a set of I can be doing another exercise, you know, uh, bench press, and then go and do a set of 10 pull ups. And it's like, okay, I can do that. But I wasn't able to at the very beginning, right? That takes time because that's a doubling of fatigue on your muscles potentially. But have you heard about Truett Haynes, the guy who set?
No.
So he just set the Guinness Book of World Record for number of pull-ups in 24 hours. He did over 10,000,
Wow.
and he trained for I think it was 6 years before getting to that point. So that just to kind of give you an idea of what some people are setting out to do these days. Now, again, you don't need to go and do that, but I would say if you need some inspiration, go watch his video on that because it's unbelievable. I mean, he's literally, I think um, it's like 700 an hour or something that you have to do that. It's just crazy. So, and I forget, he like breaks down his actual cadence of like how many he did, but he
Hmm.
just literally has like a food thing there, and he's just every hour he's got like a number that he has to hit. It's
That's
just
crazy.
crazy, man, for 24 hours. So yeah, he smashed it, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, the other big one here we were going to talk through, Sean, is easy jogs. I
Yep.
think that's a way to kind of start low effort, and I always like this one. We've talked about this on the show, but it's a great one for travel. If you just, there's nothing better. And I'm going to get Sean to go jogging with me. And when we do our on location later this year, trust me on that, listeners. Um, it's going to be a nice, light, easy jog, but pack the running shoes. Like just bringing your athletic shoes with you when you go on a trip helps with this entire process. Whether you're going to actually go jog or just go walk, you feel like you can go do it because you're like, there's
Hmm.
my shoes. I can go do this. And you get to see a new place more intimately. And I think, again, it's like finding those ways in which you can be more systematic about tricking the mind, if that makes sense, Sean.
Yeah. Yeah, it
It's
does. It does.
it's like I'm not actually working out right now. I'm enjoying myself. I'm walking. I mean, I'm seeing a new place.
Hmm.
This is fun versus, oh man, I have to go work out. Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this is kind of anything else to add there in terms of low effort things that you're tracking or that you
I,
would like to be
I
doing more of?
I mean, I want to keep doing more walking. I think the most important thing for me is realizing that just doing something is better than doing nothing, that I don't have to go out and run a marathon tomorrow. Just going for a half mile walk, before bed is better than nothing. That's just where we all have to start sometimes is, well, doing something is better than nothing, and that's okay.
100%. I couldn't have said it better myself. For this, it specifically start small and manageable with consistency in mind.
Hmm.
Don't drop off. Just keep it consistent. Have target days that you're saying I'm going to do. Just like Sean was saying, I'm going to do this at this time. That's what I'm going to do. Hold yourself accountable for something you're going to do this year. But with that, we have to dive into higher effort levels, which are always fun because I'm sure there's people in the lounge that are like, yeah, Sean John, I am a pro. Okay. Well, this is for you. So at the end of the day, we all want to build up to something. And this is the section where we want to talk about building up to larger fitness goals. I think a larger fitness goal right off the bat, Sean, is just adding load. I
Hmm.
think to go along with what you said earlier, too many people add weight too fast
Yep.
and they injure themselves or they get something happens, they tweak something because it's just you're just not ready. You really aren't. And I want to instill in my children the power of this. It's like, no, before you start adding weight, you need to understand the physics, the kinematics behind this movement. And I had a buddy of mine who was big, big, big. He wouldn't even let me squat. He's like, "You want to go squat?" And I was like, "Yeah." I had no idea how to do it.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, so then, he was big on this principle of kinematics. He's like, all right, well, I'm not going to let you squat because you have no idea what you're doing. And I'm like, thank you. Because most of the time you go with a buddy and they're like,
Yep.
they throw you the bar and you're like, oh, what do I do? So he threw me a PVC pipe, completely different. He said, okay,
Hmm.
you need to see how to do this with no weight.
Yeah.
And once you do it,
That's a good friend right there.
oh, dude, he was so into it and he was ripped. Yeah, he looked like a Bulbasaur. Like
Okay.
he would that was his big thing too. He'd be like, "All right, let's go work out in the park." And then he'd be like, "Men got to work out with their shirts off." He had all these like great phrases. And so he'd take his shirt off and I'm like this skinny dweeb kid and
Uh-huh.
he had been working out. One, he was shorter than me and stockier than me, but still like bigger build.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, his back, dude, I've never seen anything like it. Like he had like the muscles, the like neck muscle, the traps
Uh-huh.
that like go up and like but in circle. It looks like have you seen that show Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, I have a
Yeah,
time or
like
two.
yeah. Where it's like the muscles are so defined it looks like
Uh-huh.
a scales. That's what it looked like. I
Wow.
was like I couldn't believe it. I was like, yeah, if I looked like you, I'd definitely work out with my shirt off all the time. His wife's over in the corner, like, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Elle, if you're listening, good on you. At the end of the day, these are some really cool moments you can have with people. But the big thing I wanted to drive home there is he threw me a PVC pipe, listeners, and said, no, you got to understand the basics. You will hurt yourself if you don't understand how to do this.
Hmm.
And he had such a great way of looking at it too. Look at children. You almost need to tell your kids, do a natural movement and then mimic that because
Oh,
they'll
I
do
like
it
that.
right.
Hmm.
And that was his whole way. He's like, remember when you were a kid and you get into a squat? What do they do? And he like sat down in a squat with it again, no weight. He's like, you push it forward and you're everything is tight, but you lean in with like your pelvic. Anyway, it was just a great way of mimicking children to then show you how to do it the natural way.
Hmm.
And all of this was done before adding any weight. And in my mind, you have to start there before you add any and start weight training for larger muscles. Now that is the way to get higher effort levels and feel better about gaining and going up. But I would actually encourage everyone to kind of go through that, find a trainer and somebody who will throw a PVC pipe at you and say, "No, we're going to do this the right way from the bottom up." So that's kind of my first one there, Sean. Yeah, I think another big one. I know you're not big on the gym, but for me, it's been more sets of everything are fun. So as you're starting to develop, and you sort of set up front, start with low weight, high reps.
Hmm.
Well, continue that, but then also as you're going up in weight, still try and do a number of reps. Like my personal preference for rep count is no less than 5. I'm
Okay.
not like if I'm doing a single heavy. I was listening to a podcast on he was a power lifter trainer or Olympic weightlifting trainer, and he was saying there's something special about single rep heavies. And so pretty
Hmm.
much what that is like your max that you're pushing. And I'm
Yeah.
going like, yeah, if I was an Olympic
Yeah.
weight trainer or weightlifter, of course I'd be into that. But like, I don't know that to me, there's such, unless you have a spotter, you're not throwing on like 4 plates and then
Yeah.
going for one heavy, you know what I mean? It's not
It's
economical.
not realistic. It's not
No,
something that the average person is going to be able to do. It's more like let me put on 2 plates and do 10 reps and still get the same workout, if not better. Then let me throw fucking 500 pounds on there and then you hurt yourself because there's nobody there to watch you. So like you have to be careful to not go too far. And if you start feeling the best advice I heard was if you start feeling like it's too easy, you've found the right weight because it means you can focus on form and you can focus on doing it correctly and then just do a little bit more rep. If that's starting to feel too easy, then start shifting up to the next weight. And then, but always make sure whatever your rep you were doing at the lower one, don't move to the next one and stick there until you can do the same rep count there. So work your way up incrementally. Don't take it too fast, too far.
100%. And I mean, I think the magic number actually is 5.
Hmm.
There has been some research around if you can do heavy heavier sets at 5, then you know you're kind of in the sweet spot
Yep.
because you're very close to like muscle. If you're having trouble hitting that fifth rep, you know you're right on the cusp of like that's gains. Like those are
Yep.
gains, and that was the way it was kind of presented. I, I mean, again, all of this is bro science at the end of the day. I think it's more about what kind of release are you getting? Are you feeling empowered to go about your day at this point, or are you feeling bogged down and not great?
Yep.
Because I
Yeah.
feel great after I get out of the gym every time, even if it's been only 15 minutes. Try to find that, listeners. Um, the other big one that we should drive home, Sean, is since this is the hobby show, more strenuous hikes, backpacking. These are things that you can do and look for greater challenges.
Yeah, they can be your replacement for the gym on some of those days where you want to get outside, you want to get out, you want to load some heavy weight in your backpack and go on a backpacking trip. Or you don't have to go on a backpacking trip to pack for backpacking. This is actually something that's pretty interesting. You can just load your backpack and go practice backpacking. Just go for a hike.
Yep.
Just practice with the weight before you're in the middle of nowhere by yourself and you might hurt yourself. Practice, walk around your neighborhood, go on some hikes with a little bit more weight, then put a little bit more weight in the bag. And I think that when you're looking for those more strenuous hikes, look for hikes that focus on a lot of uphill. Look for the hikes that have varied terrain. Like maybe you have to climb some boulders. Maybe you have to go downhill really steep gravel and you're really having to control the core and make sure you keep yourself upright. Look for longer distances. I mean, yesterday I did a mile. I'm going to do 2 miles today. I'm going to do 3 miles today. Like build that up. There's so many ways you can bring in varied like challenges into your walking and your hiking and while also spending time outside and getting some good sun and, and breathing in some fresh air. And then the thing that I am still a long ways away from, I know John's a lot closer than I am, but as you get into the higher effort levels, we talked about jogging and lower effort, but getting into actual full on running in the higher levels, whether you're practicing or training for a half marathon or a full marathon, doing a lot more of those actually strenuous runs or maybe more sprinting than just kind of the easy jog. That's something to work your way up towards. I made the mistake of going into that too fast maybe about 5 years ago. And I was like, I'm got all gung ho. I'm going to go get up at 4 in the morning and go for runs every morning. I made it 2 weeks. 2 weeks before I finally said, I cannot do this anymore. And then I stopped doing it altogether because I set my goal too high. It was so unrealistic for where I was at in my fitness goals that it was just doomed from the start. It was never going to work. So yeah, we even still make these with John and I. We do these a lot too. So, getting into some more of those either in the gym workouts, focusing on more weight or more reps, or out of the gym, focusing on more strenuous hikes and walks, maybe bring some even, it's like in that middle range between low effort and high effort, maybe start implementing some fast walks because it's not full impact jog, impact jogging, impact on your knees, but doing that fast walk, like getting your body to have to deal with getting some of that exercise in. So there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. And we'd love to hear from all of you on the things that you've done that have worked or the things you've done that didn't work. Because we'd love to have some of that knowledge as well and pass that on to the other listeners of like for me, I jumped straight into running, failed within 2 weeks. Didn't end up going. Couldn't do it anymore. So we want to learn from everything we've done.
100% Sean. And I'm glad you kind of brought up that training exercise you could do. My buddy actually does that. When he's getting ready for big backpacking trips, he just loads up his bag and just starts walking around places,
Hmm.
getting used to it again. And I do think there's so much to that look for a challenge, find varied terrain, find something that interests you. And it goes right back to where we started. What can I do to stay in shape? What interests me this year to build a foundation for staying in shape and doing activities? I would encourage you to find an activity that you want to do, but you can't do yet.
Yeah.
And that could be a good place to start. So, with that, we're actually going to lead into and finish the show here with our fitness goals for 2026. I'll start with mine. Uh, I really want to get a power meter this year and put it on my bike. I've never done this before. I'm very much a ride for the fun of it person. So this is a bit against the grain for me. And I don't know if it bleeds through it all, but I am very much a person of if it's utility, if it has utility built in, I'm a fan. Like
Hmm.
I do a lot of my rides and my motivations for riding were just started with, hey, I need to go to the store. I'm not going to get in the car. I'm just going to go ride my bike to go to the store. I do that almost every single week, Sean, where it's like we need something. Hey, I'll just throw my bag on. I'm going to go up and ride to the store. And then I
Hmm.
get it. And then I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to go ride home in a different way. And that alone is just so fun for me. It's like the utility. I didn't spend money on gas. I just went and got something. It's great. It feels good. But this is going to be a new way of approaching this problem, right? Getting a power meter, knowing how much power I'm actually putting out. And I got encouraged recently by hearing a podcast where they said, start training by power. So, what that pretty much means is have a power target. You put out a certain amount of power as you're riding. So,
Hmm.
I don't really know. I know how much speed. For me, it's always been a speed. Like, I try and hit a 20-mile per hour average when I'm out riding heavy by myself. But what does that equate to in power? I don't know. Maybe it's like 180 watts, maybe it's 220. I'm not sure. So being able to understand and ultimately build up to being threshold trained. So what that pretty much means is like right at the top end of where you start to generate
Hmm.
lactic acid in the muscles and it starts to really hurt. That's like at threshold. So understanding how long you can hold that as a baseline at power, that's going to be right below like you again, you start to really go downhill after that. But the goal is push your threshold and train at threshold so that then the next day you come back, you're like, okay, I did 20 minutes yesterday. Next week I'm going to do 25 minutes. The week after that I'm going to do 30 minutes. And then
Hmm.
you're turning your body the neural again, it's like turning the screws neurologically. It's like, no, I can do more. That's it. It's just simply saying, no, you're going to do just a little bit more. You're going to take that just a little bit further. And so that's kind of my personal goal. And I'm interested to see one where I start and then how far I kind of want to take it. I think it's all up in the air and it won't be something where if it strips me of joy, it's going right out.
I think that's a good policy to have for this year. Strips you joy, get it out of here. I'm going with more of an attainable, lower effort goal for this year. Mine is just to get out with Ali and go on a walk 5 days a week. I think that it's super attainable, good for us. Trying to do those evening walks after dinner to help with digestion and glucose intake and trying to help with that stuff. So just trying to do 5 nights a week of getting out there and walking. And if we can do more, fantastic. And if we do less, that's okay. But shooting for that as our goal, I think, is what I'd like to do for this year. Something a
That's
little bit more attainable than getting a power meter and getting out there. But I'm not quite at John's level yet. I'm still working it to get there.
it sounds a bit silly at the end of the day, but hey, we all set little goals and they
Yep.
all matter, Sean, even yours. So everybody, we hope you have some good fitness goals. No matter who you are and where you are. It's taken me now, Sean knows. I actually started cycling, it would have been 8 years ago.
Hmm.
Uh, I would say heavily. And yeah, can you believe it, Sean? We're actually almost 8 years in the industry here.
That's
And that's
crazy.
pretty much when I started commuting every single day. So
Hmm.
that's how long it's actually taken me to get a power meter. So if that says anything to you listeners, and who knows, I may not even do it. This is a goal. We'll see. So stay tuned to the show and find out more on the next episode of How to Hobby Podcast. With that, Sean, it's been a pleasure. This has been a great episode to really, I think, dive in. Thanks for sharing the history of the gym and working out in our culture and where we're at ultimately. We want you to feel like you can conquer your fitness goals this year. We also want to encourage you, no matter where you are, you can start now and make meaningful gains. Dad gains.
That
It's a real
gains.
thing. So, listeners, whether you're a dad or not, start small and you will go far. In the end, Sean, it's been a pleasure as always. This episode will be coming up at our regularly slated time, Friday, 6 a.m., best day of the week. And until then, you know where to find us at the How
How
to
to
Hobby
hobby
Podcast.
podcast.